What are the biggest needs for the Philadelphia Eagles? It's funny. Started thinking after watching another show yesterday that maybe my thought process is wrong, and there's other big needs on this Philadelphia Eagles team. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about jersey numbers. And y'all know I hate Kelly Green. Wait till you hear about my jersey number opinion. That's going to set some heads off. And did the Phillies win? Spoiler alert, not because of Taijuan Walker, but no, they did not win. Look, it's Friday. Anything can happen on Friday on Trending in the AM. We're live, talking all things Philly sports and the weekend in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, YouTube and Twitter, you know the drill. Wherever you're watching, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe, share button. And, of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Even if you're watching on Twitter, head on over to the YouTube page, linked in the description on Twitter. I'd greatly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. It's free to do. It supports a local content creator and, of course, helps people the more people watching this, the less people that are watching the dial, and that's the ultimate goal. Getting people to break that habit of watching the dial, listening to the dial. So, guys, do that for me. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And as always, we got a jam-packed Friday. You never know what's going to happen in the comments of Trending in the AM on a Friday. Well, you never know what's going to happen in the comments ever. But Fridays tend to get a little interesting. So I'm putting a pressure on the comment section today, because that's Friday. It gets a little crazy. We're going to talk Eagles' biggest needs throughout the rest of this offseason. We are going to talk Phillies. We are going to talk jersey retirement numbers and numbers being retired, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to do that today as well. And you never know what else we're going to talk about, because I got a controversial jersey number idea and opinion. I got controversial movie opinion as well. So we're going to get into it. Yes, what's up, K1? We're going to start the show off talking Scotty Scheffler shooting 10 under yesterday. You know, all the bets I made, K1, live on Fairway to Heaven Tuesday nights right here on the STT Sports Network. I built a live parlay on the show. Part of that parlay was Scotty winning, because I can't just bet Scotty straight up because the odds just aren't there. But I put a parlay together. And right now, after round one, him, my top 10, and my top 20, all parlayed together, chef's kiss. Maybe I'll make some money this week in golf. But that was a pretty easy round for Scotty Scheffler yesterday. Peanut, what's up, my friend? Yes, TGIF, I mean, Fridays to you normal people, you normies, is always a big deal to us restaurant workers. Friday is just another day in the life of a restaurant worker. So, you know, I don't really, Anyway, so let's start with the Eagles today. Let's start with the biggest needs of the Eagles. We'll get into the jersey numbers. We'll get into the Phillies in a little bit. But I was watching my man Eagle Eric. He started a new show on the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network, you know, another network that I work with, doing another show for them. And, you know, he had his debut show. And if you guys don't know Eagles Eric, really great analytic guy out there, really covers a lot of X's and O's on the Eagles. And his debut show, I just put out there, biggest need for the Eagles. And it's not why he said it wasn't wide receiver depth like I think. It wasn't running back depth as I thought. He put it out there that defensive end edge rusher is still the biggest need for this Philadelphia Eagles team. And it got me thinking a bit. Is the edge position still a major concern? A, and B, how can we add to it? And that I don't know. So I'm looking at the free agent edge rushers out there, and Von Miller obviously has got some personal, issues that Howie Roseman probably wouldn't sign him. There ain't much else left out there in the edge position. So what does Howie do to improve? Not fix, because it's still good with Nolan Smith, and we hope another jump from Jalix Hunt. What can Howie Roseman do to improve the pass rush of this Philadelphia Eagles? Does it need to be improved? Is Eagles Eric onto something that we still need edge rush help? It's a question I'm throwing out there. Is the answer Nakobe Dean comes back and Jahad Campbell is that edge rusher? Even though I think he's going to be, the middle linebacker there next to Zach Bond. What's the answer to the pass rush? I mean, I know leading up to the draft, there's a lot of talks of the Trey Hendricksons of the world, the Watts of the world, guys the Eagles could trade for. I know Kayvon Thibodeau was one of them. The Giants picked up his fifth-year option. What out there is there still to do that the Eagles can do to make the edge rush position more lethal, make us more confident? Now, I personally didn't think before last night that edge rusher was a position of concern. But then you start looking at it, and you start looking at the names of Bryce Huff, the names of Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Jahad Campbell. You look at the names of Ojulari, Joshua Uche, Bryce Huff again. I'm just going to say his name again. What do they need to do? I think the first question is, what do they think of Bryce Huff? Is there a scenario? Is there a world where Bryce Huff stays on the Eagles next year? Is there a world that they can get something out of him? Not in a trade. I mean, in a production level. Was last year a blip on the radar? And the real Bryce Huff will stand up and show out. Is there any world where the 11.5 sack jet Bryce Huff shows up next year at Midnight Green? There's another argument to be made that the Cam Jurgens extension saved enough cap space where you can afford to trade away Bryce Huff and, then in turn, eat that cap hit. How's the content? The content's always good, TMZ. TMZ stands for T Mid Z, right? That's what it is. Off to a bazoo new start. We are off to a bazoo new start. I mean, I got some things on my mind today that are really going to piss a few people off, potentially. I don't know. I said that on Twitter yesterday when I put it on Twitter, and I didn't think I was going to get so much support in it, but we'll see. Huff wasn't a great fit, and he was hurt last year. Guess we run him out there and eat the contract. That's theory one. And if you're running him out there, while edge is a need because you don't know what you're going to get, there are a lot of bodies on the edge, on the roster right now. A lot of unknowns, a lot of unproven, a lot of question marks at edge. I mean, we know what Nolan Smith's going to be. He's a young, rising star. Does he take the next step? Jalix Hunt, in a very brief portion of the season last year, started to show some growth as a rookie. Jalix Hunt was a kid when we drafted him last offseason. I thought he was 2 to 3 years away from making an impact. And he made an impact pretty quickly last year at the end of the season. Uche, don't call me Usi, Ojulari, these are guys that can maybe combined make some form of an impact. It's something that I just don't know. I think almost to an extent, the Bryce Huff situation is the key to the edge position. Good morning, Little G. Hope you're doing well this morning. How come when I tell you after watching you need tight ends and edge, it's crickets? Because I still don't. That's why I'm bringing it up. Because, and you have a reputation, Mid. Your reputation is you just call everybody Mid. Hence why we just call you Mid now. You just have a reputation. And you don't really know. Your depth be Mid, and you be Mid as well. We're just going to fire each other up right from the get-go today. I still personally think that the Eagles don't make a move. Actually, I don't think the Eagles make any move till, at a minimum, August 1st. I think the roster you see right now, maybe they add another undrafted free agent because I think they're only at 88 or 89 names right now. The names that are on the roster now will be the same names that are on the roster come July, whatever, when training camp starts. Outside of maybe a Dallas Goedert trade, if that happens. But the rest of the roster is what is because the free agent market ain't anything special out there. Howie Roseman's going to play it safe. Howie Roseman's going to be cautious. Howie Roseman's going to wait till camp cuts start to roll around. This roster is what it is at this point. Doesn't mean that there's not weaknesses, so to say. Antoine Powell-Ryland might be a stud in a year or two. Yeah, I've seen a few people talking about him now, K1, in the last week or so, that he might be one of the steals of this draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't know enough other than some of the highlight clips I've seen since the draft on him, so I'm not really sure. Is edge rusher one of the easier positions to pick up, a rotational edge rusher as a rookie to make an impact? Something about that just popped into my head. Maybe he can, we thought it was going to take 2 to 3 years for Jalen Hunt, given an opportunity on a great defensive line last year. He made it as a rookie. Can Ryland do that as well if an opportunity presents itself? Because edge is a little easier to pick up when you're just in there on third down, just blitzing the quarterback. Why can't we find a role for Huff? You can't tell me the guy has no skill set to contribute. It's almost like Fangio just doesn't like him. Maybe a locker room problem. I don't think it said he doesn't like him. I think Bryce Huff was a Howie pick. Like you look at the draft, Peanut. This draft was all, what does Vic Fangio want? Bryce Huff was what Howie wanted. Bryce Huff also, in 4 years with the Jets, had one good year. He had more financial or more success in that year than all the other years combined. So I said when they signed him last offseason, Peanut, on this show, on a different network, that was he going to be a one-hit wonder? Was he going to be the Oneaters? Okay? Or maybe the Shrimp Shack Shooters. But there's got to be a role for him. I mean, that money can't just be eaten and you can't just be cut. It's a lot of money. Now, he did get hurt right at the point where he's finally starting to learn the Fangio system. He did, start to learn some differences, but he was also a non-dress in the Super Bowl kind of guy, and that doesn't bode well for him. Good morning, Freddie. Freddie Burns trying to say Firehouse. Why would you say that? I mean, yeah, you want to try to trigger, you want to be whatever, but clearly that's just a load of hocus pocus. The hybrid edge in Fangio's defense is more complicated than people think, and I do agree with it. I do agree with that, mister. There is something very difficult about learning Fangio's style, and some people just aren't capable of it, and some people it takes a little while. Trade for Michael Mayer. This I don't hate the idea. I actually thought, Freddie, that this was going to happen during the draft. Now, I will counter it and say that while I was 98% sure Dallas Goedert wasn't going to be on the team next year, now the pendulum is starting to flip a little bit, and I'm starting to lean towards Dallas Goedert maybe making a one-year return, figuring something out. Interesting little piece was written up about the comparisons to the offseason of Dallas Goedert this year to Josh Sweat last year, where we thought Sweat was gone. We couldn't afford him, and he ended up taking a one-year cheaper deal with more incentives, and then he got paid big in free agency. Maybe they work something out like that with Dallas Goedert. But adding Michael Mayer to the tight end room, it's a good idea. But let's also remember, I mean, yes, part of it is he had to play behind Brock Bowers last year, but his rookie year, he didn't do that much else. Like, he had the potential coming out of Notre Dame, but he didn't really do much with Oakland, Las Vegas. So he's not going to replace Dallas Goedert if you brought him in, Mayer. He would be a good addition to the other guys you got there, but he's not a replacement for him. Good morning, Duck. How are you? Huff should have a solid player we overpaid for, but he was a nothing burger. He was a nothing burger. But can he do anything else? Like, can he give us something? Hey, Captain Geach and the Shipshank Shooters, the greatest band, the greatest made-up band in a movie about a made-up band is Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. And, of course, the Own Eaters. Don't call me the Wonders. Good morning, Adam. Hope you're doing well. It's Friday. Bryce Huff was a rotation player with the Jets and that had success. He did. I forget. I remember when we signed him, part of my argument on the Bryce Huff being an overpay was that he only played, I forget the exact number, Freddie. It was like 41% of the snaps. He still had 11 and a half sacks that year on like 41% of snaps. But he literally, his big breakout year, he played like 4% more snaps than Brandon Graham did. So, yeah, I called this one. I'm not proud of it, but I called this one. Same with linebacker position under. I think the entirety of Vic Fangio's defense is pretty difficult to learn. Hence why some organizations, the players don't like his tough, coaching style because he's trying. It takes, a couple of months of really hard coaching to get them to learn it. That's not Frederick. That's the one that will be unnamed. What? If there was a market for Goddard, he'd be gone already. He's coming back on a cheap. I agree with this, K1. I think it's very interesting the way it's played out. I think if he didn't have the injury history, there would have been a market for him. But because of the money you've seen given out to Evan Ingram, to George Kittle, and some of the other tight ends, some of the big deals. What was the dude? Trey McBride from the Cardinals got a massive deal. The money going towards big dollar tight ends, Dallas Goedert probably thinks he's in that big market, skill set, and he probably is when healthy, but he's not always healthy. So teams aren't willing to commit that kind of money to him. I tell you, I don't any respect. What? Did you see the interview with Howie where they kept asking him about the defensive draft and how he said, am I talking to Fangio? Vic has free reign on building this defense. I love it. I did not see that, and I do catch most of his interviews, so good pull there. I didn't catch that. Find that clip, Peanut, and send it to me. Vic Fangio, I think Howie's finally realized you've got to give your coaches what they want to succeed. You can't keep giving them the square pegs to put in those round holes. It's Troll Fred. We know who it is. The Own Eaters. One of, if not the best music movie ever made. That Thing You Do. Just so you know. Had the soundtrack the day after that movie came out, and I loved it. Big fan of that movie. Hi, Bruce. What's up? Good morning to you. Hope you are well. Davis is cheaper than Huff with the fifth-year option. Ouch, Duck. That's a big ouch when you put it like that. That's a major, major, major ouch on that. Yeah, some weird low numbers on the stats. I remember that too. With the Bryce Huff situation, I think it was clear. But see, the Bryce Huff thing wasn't Howie, as Peanut just said. Bryce Huff wasn't Howie going to Vic Fangio yet. I mean, I think when he signed Bryce Huff early in free agency, how long was Vic even here for? That relationship hadn't been groomed yet between Vic Fangio and Howie Roseman. So Howie was still doing Howie things to an extent there. I mean, Howie's improved, obviously, before that, but that part of the giving the coordinator the tools wasn't there yet. Bryce Huff equals Josh Sweat. I don't know about that. I think Josh Sweat might actually be better. Josh Sweat's average. We don't know if Bryce Huff is average, bad, or not. Phil, I know you know the Phillies lost. It was very bad as I watched it. I watched the end of the game and the very beginning of the game. I left the pizza shop. The Phillies were up 1-0. I come home from the pizza shop. They're down 4-1, and I hear some defensive blunders is what caused it. Boo! Wasting another Taijuan Walker start. Has there been a more non-talked about great story in Philadelphia this year as there is Taijuan Walker's resurgence? I mean, gotta love it. I feel we need a new manager. Rob is not doing a good job. Look, I agree. You know that, Bruce. Rob Thompson ain't going anywhere. Unless the wheels completely fall off, Rob Thompson is not going anywhere, unfortunately. I played linebacker and edge in college in a similar front as Fangio's. It was a nightmare remembering all the responsibilities. Is it so? So I want you to go a little bit more detail. Like why? Like is it because you've got each player's got 3 things to remember on every play, or every play's different? Like what makes it so difficult to remember all the responsibilities? You're asked to do multiple things on the same play. I feel the Nationals are terrible. We should win most. We should have swept the Nationals, Bruce, and we got the pitching last night to do that. Unfortunately, Bryce Harper said, I don't want to win this game. If we don't, then we need to change something. We do need to change something with the Phillies. Vaughn is worse than Huff. Yeah, I'm not recommending bringing in Von Miller, but there is not anybody else on the free agent market on edge rushers to bring in. Bryce Eric cost them. Bryce has been great at 1B. Is that the first blunder from him that cost us? Bryce has been great at, does that say 1B or linebacker? Is that the first blunder from him that cost us? Look, the Bryce didn't cost us anything. Oh, you're flipping to the Phillies. I'm thinking, we're talking Bryce Huff. Now we're talking Phillies, Bryce Harper, 1B, first base. Dude, we're all over the place here with comments. But all the comments center around Bryce. I don't know which Bryce we're talking about. I did not see that play live when it happened. That was when I was driving home from work. He has been very good. Borderline Gold Glove at first base. From what I was told and what I saw, that was a key turning point in the game. And in that inning that we gave up 3 unearned runs in that situation. So I don't know if that's the way it played out or not, but that's the way I was told it played out. Rays ass-handed by Royals. Now we're going to start talking that. We were talking Bryce Huff and linebackers. So, very, very, very tiny words on my computer screen. When we're talking about Bryces in 2 different sports, it's very easy to get confused. Yeah, see what's going on here? Phil, I feel Bryce is a superstar, but I feel Thompson's not giving him the motivation to play like he can. He doesn't do that for anybody. Bruce. Campbell going to be your edge. Parson S. Everybody's saying that, Fred. But I don't know if that's the case. I think John Campbell is going to be your linebacker next to Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean is not going to be ready by week 1. Nakobe Dean, somebody yesterday on this show, and it made me think, said he might not play all year. The injury is a very devastating injury for Nakobe Dean to come back from. It's a shame it's happening on a contract year for him, but it's something that is going to be very difficult. So maybe in the future. But right off the bat, John Campbell's going to be, your middle linebacker there with Zach Bond. Rick wasn't here to make it specific. Yeah. Let's play Name That Bryce for 200, Alex. That's right. The Bryce is right, or Name That Bryce. I don't know. Give me more Bryces. I don't even know. Just kind of challenge me. I'll probably get them all wrong. I believe Bryce Drew was clutch with that 3. There we go. What was that? Was Bryce Drew? It was a college kid. I remember the NCAA. He became a coach in college too. Where he went to school, was it? No, not Valparaiso. I was like a mid-school. I forget. Bryce Drew, what college did he go to? Damn it, how do I not remember this? I'm going to kick myself. I wouldn't say Valparaiso, but I think that's wrong. It was a big mistake, but I feel the players are not happy, and that is why we are not playing like we should. That's why I feel we need a new manager. I agree with you. 1,000%. I am 1,000,000% with you, Bruce, that he is a problem, but they're not going to get rid of him, unfortunately. And that's going to be what, in the big picture, costs them. The Axeman, but I think signing a linebacker might be the move. I am not hyped on, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is not ready yet, in my opinion. Not at all. But you say sign a linebacker. So let's pull up here. Inside linebacker, available free agent inside linebackers currently. This is the top list on Spot Track based off of their salaries from last year. C.J. Mosley, Juwan Bentley, Devondre Campbell, Eric Kendricks, Neville Hewitt, Chris Burns, Matthew Adams, Zach Cunningham. We can reunite there. That's what's left on the outside or in the middle. Not much. Which Bryce has underperformed when going from the team he started on and the one that gave him the bag? I think both of them could answer that. Phil, I like the name Bryce or having a Bryce day. Yeah. Name that Bryce. Have a Bryce day. Yeah. It was Valpo? Okay. I thought it was. That was the first thing that popped into my head. Bryce Young. Bryce Young is probably better than Bryce Huff at this point. All right, so I was right. Bryce. Thank you, K1. Thank you for that one. Trotter was taking half the snaps in practice in the playoffs with intent to share snaps with Burks, but Burks did so good he never saw the field. Yeah, that's fine. If you can't beat out Burks, that means you got a problem. I mean, he didn't do anything. Burks didn't do anything great. He just did good. Look, I get it. I still am not ready. I mean, remember, Nakobe Dean in 15 games last year had almost 130 tackles, okay, before he got hurt. He had 3 sacks, an interception, 9 tackles for loss. I forget the exact numbers. I'm ballparking these numbers. I had written them down somewhere, but honestly don't feel like looking. Trott's not ready to step up to the Nakobe Dean level, in my opinion. I would love to see it. Having Axman Jr. take that next step would be great for the team and great for the fans and great for him. I'm just not ready to put it on that. We're trying to win back-to-back Super Bowls here. We don't need let's see. We need sure things. I got PTSD from getting cursed out by my defensive coordinator in practice based on what the offense does, determines whether you pass rush, play the run, or drop into coverage. It's like calculus. Well, I never even took calculus in school. So yeah, that's got to be pretty difficult. That sucks. So it's basically you have 3 play calls, and based off of what the offense does, you got to decide what to do, and you got to decide like that. Well, Burks was great, in my opinion. He stunk when he filled in the Packers game. And he did his job. Backups are not supposed to be as good as the starters, right? Backups are supposed to, fill in to the best of their ability when something like that happens. The best Trotter is a lawyer on my cousin Fitty. I haven't seen that in ages. Junior just need a little bit more seasoning and a bunch more snaps. Burks read the field better than the rookie. Pretty much. Junior does need more seasoning. We win back-to-back Super Bowls with axe celebrations in the backfield. Book it. Look, Fred. Why did I say Fred? That sounds a little too formal for me. Fred. No, Freddie. Look, anything that involves winning back-to-back Super Bowls, I'm okay with it. And if Trot can start at linebacker next to Zach Bond, it does free up Jihad Campbell to fix that weakness on the edge. But first off, let me backtrack for a second with Jihad Campbell on the edge and going on the outside. How is Jihad Campbell's coverage skills? How good of a cover? Because our edges, Hunt, Nolan Smith, the new ones, Ojulari, the reason why Huff couldn't play because he couldn't. You got to be able to drop into coverage. How is Jihad Campbell's coverage skills? Because I think that is another big key to whether he can play on the outside. And I'm sure you're going to say he's fine at it, but we'll see. I'm not sure. Trotter wasn't even given the opportunity because of how good Burks did in that playoff game. Campbell will be back and forth, and we are in nickel 90%. I think it's weird because you play 2-3 safety, or you play like 3 safeties and 3 cornerbacks, and 5 down or 6 linemen and linebackers. So we're in that nickel dime package so much. We're playing multiple 5-6 defensive backs on every single play. I think it's interesting. And we'll see. First OTA, May 27th, rookie minicamp this weekend. So it's very interesting. We're going to start to see a little bit of everything over the next month with this Eagles team and what's going to happen. On a hunch, I looked over Cowboys roster. They did not get any better. No running back one, wide receiver not good, quarterback. all they did was build O-line. Well, you got to start with the O-line. Pot Geeter buried the first hole. Good for him. Safety's a hole too. The second Reed Blankenship loses a step speed-wise, he will be out of the league. Look, so here's the question. Put it out. It kind of got brought up yesterday. Put a poll out on Twitter. We're at almost 180 votes on Twitter. If you could only re-sign one, Reed Blankenship or Nakobe Dean, who would it be and why? And right now it's 80-20 to bring back Reed Blankenship. But Reed Blankenship is, in my opinion, Fred, I did it again, Freddie, is average. He's, as TMZ likes to call him, mid. Now you have Drew Makuba, who is going to be a hot shot prospect, a hot shot rookie. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him. Sidney Brown's not it. Safety is a major need on this team. But on the flip side, are we ready to bring in, finally, Justin Simmons? Neither would be your answer, not to extend either of them. I've always been a Nakobe Dean fan. Undersized linebacker that overperforms. I always like the undersized guy making it like that. I would give a cheap deal to try to see if Nakobe Dean can get healthy and get back. Reed Blankenship, you kind of have to give him the deal because, as you said, there's still a big hole. There's still a big hole at safety. The trade of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, while I understood it, left a gaping hole at safety. And if you're on the short side, like Bryce Huff, barely 6 foot tall, he probably can't see anything fighting against the 6'8" line. He just has to guess. Guessing in football is not easy. If Jackson Dart be good, Cowboys would be last. Well, Jackson Dart ain't going to be good. He ain't even going to be the starter. He might be the third stringer on that team. Huff is 6'3". Justin Simmons. See, the problem with Justin Simmons, Freddie, and I know you don't watch every day, but I've brought this up on other shows. Why hasn't he been signed here yet? Why wasn't he signed last year? We're doing the same song and dance with Justin Simmons rumors this offseason as we did last offseason. And it never happened last offseason. And it probably isn't going to happen this offseason. And I don't get why we can't just move on from Justin Simmons. Now, is Justin Simmons the best safety out there that's available? Maybe. Do we lack veteran leadership on this defense? Absolutely. But if Justin Simmons was such an important get for Vic Fangio, and all Howie Roseman does is get Vic Fangio what he wants, Justin Simmons would have signed last offseason. Just say, Blankenship is mid. He's a bench player on just about all Super Bowl competing teams. He had a good eye, but gets burned all the time because he physically can't make up for the hawking. Yeah, look, he's going to make some big plays, and he's going to make some big mistakes. And Reed Blankenship is what he is. He's average. He's average. He's also already 26 years old. When you go to re-sign him next offseason, he's going to be 27. So, but where do you go? So it's kind of the problem with what you got at safety. So first-round rookie Dart will not be better than second-round Hurts. What? First-round Dart will not be. No, Dart stinks. Dart gonna suck. Giants are so dumb. They should have loaded up more picks for next year. Drafted, took Sanders the flyer late. I don't know if the Giants are dumb. Dart is going to suck, yeah. The Giants will be better this year. Getting Russell Wilson, having Jameis Winston. Their quarterback room is going to be better. So, and their defense got better. So, in theory, the Giants are going to be better. The Giants are still going to lose double-digit games. But instead of being 4-13, 3-14, they might be 6-11, which is an improvement for the Giants. But it's not going to be because of Dart. He's listed 6'3", but he looks tiny out there. To me, he doesn't have long arms like Nolan Smith. Long arms is important. Simmons had a poor 24. He turns 32 this season. Pass. Yeah, look. I'm so over, like K1, not just with Justin Simmons, with the Eagles, with the Phillies, with the Sixers. We get latched on that we want these players. For years on, how many times have we talked about trading for Jordan Clarkson at trade deadlines? How many times Then we talk about Michael Young to be traded to the Phillies. And then we get these guys finally like 3-4 years later and they're past their prime. Like, there's a reason these guys are always available. Blank was one of my mids. Your nickname is mid now because that's all you think everybody is. I disagree that Reed is mid. He makes some pretty big defensive plays. I'm not saying he is lights out, but he comes up big in big moments, but he also makes some big mistakes, Peanut. And the question just is not, is he good or not? It's what do you do with the situation? Is he the next man up to get an extension this offseason? Howie rarely lets someone that he finds vital to a team go into the last year of his contract. Reed Blankenship is that guy. He is in the last year of his contract. He does not have any job security after this year. So what do you do? And if he doesn't get an extension before the season, it tells me that they're not confident that they should be keeping him around. Russell Wilson getting sacked, going to be fun. Yeah. But he's good enough to not lose 14 games. I'd be lying if I said I remember a single snap. I mean, there was a lot of games that he didn't have even a snap. So, I mean, hell, he didn't play. He didn't dress in the Super Bowl. Winston trying to give him motivational speeches. Look, Winston could give me, like, Jameis Winston, side story. I hate everybody that came out of Florida State. Just a little side story. Anybody that's a Florida State Seminole, I just hate them. Won't get into the details. But for a Florida State Seminole, Winston is quite the motivational speaker. If he wanted to give, what's it called? Esty? What was that thing back in the 80s that everyone go to? That pyramid scheme to motivate you and stuff like that. Ah, man, what was it called? That whole episode around it in the Americans about it, about Phil and what's not going to these Esty or Easty meetings or whatever. I got something, but I would never, ever, ever say it online or in public. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's pretty common for teams to pad a player's stats. Huff was measured 6'1", barefoot on his pre-draft pro day. Winston's God's weather pregame speech still cracks me up. Yep. Reed is gone. Goodbye, Reed. Thanks for the title. Welcome back to every anniversary celebration. So, just think of it this way, Freddie. I got it right that time. Freddie. You got Drew Makuba. You got Sidney Brown, and you got Reed Blankenship. That is your entire safety room right now. You let Reed go. That means you're drafting another safety next offseason. And what does Reed give you on the last year of his deal? I don't know. Who takes over Reed's spot next year? Avon. What? Avon. You think he's going to be an Avon seller, Jameis Winston? I'm not. Avon's not what I was thinking of, by the way. I think it was EST, right? Forget what it was called. That must be one tasty story about it. It's the most immature story of my life, but we won't get into it. Trust me. Reed gave us 5 picks last year? I actually wrote it down. Hold on. Last year, 15 games played, 78 tackles, 4 interceptions. 2023, 113 tackles, 3 interceptions. So 7 interceptions over the last 2 years, Marshawn. 4 and 3 over the last 2 years. Look, again, Reed does come up big. He is a ball hawk type guy. He's a guy that's going to make plays. But Reed also is out of position at times. Reed also misses tackles far too frequently for someone like Vic Fangio to appreciate him. There's a lot more to Reed Blankenship than just the interceptions. There's more to it than that, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a hole, but we don't really value safety, and Vic being here is a huge factor in covering up safety holes. Gannon was able to do it with Reed, hence 2022 success. Maybe. But, I mean, it's a real big hole right now. It's a big need. But again, Justin Simmons signing him for 1 year doesn't fix the big picture problem at safety. Let me look at this depth chart here on another tab here. The safety depth chart, obviously, Reed Blankenship. Right now, Tristan McCullum is listed as a starter on ESPN's depth chart, which I don't get that, over Makuba and Sidney Brown, Lewis Sign, and Andre Sam. Yeah, I mean, there's maybe 2 starting safeties in that whole entire group at this point. Like, Justin Simmons is 32, as somebody said. He ain't fixing the long-term problem at safety. Yeah, you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. There's ears and eyes everywhere. In my casino, somebody's always watching, okay? In my podcast, someone's always watching. Reed is fine as long as he is facing the line of scrimmage. His story has to do with his ladies. Phil ain't never been about that. I don't kiss and tell. Blankenship gets burned a lot. Everyone looks the other way because of the ESPN replay footage he gets periodically. They love the boom. They ignore the bust, I guess is the way to say it. I guess we need to cut Johnny Wilson ASAP. He might be your starting tight end. It's a revolving door every 2 to 3 years, I bet. It might be. And in 2 to 3 years, I have a feeling we're still going to be talking. This is the year that we bring in Justin Simmons. Do you remember Michael Young, Rangers infielder? We talked about him during the 08 to 11 playoff runs every single trade deadline. That was the missing piece to get the Phillies back to the World Series. That was the missing piece of the lineup. Then we got him in like 2013 after he was past his prime and after the Phillies were past his prime. It was also Reed's first year under Fangio. He was solid even with the DC carousel we had the last couple of seasons. It's fair. It's fair. That's a fair statement that while we complain about other people taking too long to learn the system, we're not giving Reed the time to learn the system. Maybe there's something to that, Peanut. I think it's a very fair statement from you. Does anyone have any defensive Reed? Glad to see everyone. Peanut is sticking up for him to an extent. It was 2012 we got him, not 13. My bad. Michael Young did. Yeah. It's like, I think in 2011, maybe he would have helped the team. In 2010, he definitely would have helped the team. In 2009, he would absolutely help the team. But we got him in 2012. 1 or 2 years too late. And that's just no bueno, we'll just say. All right, let me pull up the safety. Free agent safeties at this point. We're just going to do all the safeties, not free and strong. Marcus Williams, Justin Simmons, Rashawn Jenkins, Jordan Whitehead, Julian Blackmon, Quandre Diggs, Chuck Clark, Jordan Poyer. Kayvon Wallace is available. Go get Kayvon. Go get Kayvon back. Not Kayvon, Kayvon. Hey, it's Mr. Steven Fuentes. Good morning. Exhausted with the Phillies already. I need to buy more tickets for the roller coaster if it's going to last all season like this. Yeah. The Phillies are a roller coaster. There ain't no doubt about that. No doubt that the Phillies are a roller coaster, and the season's going to be a roller coaster. Guys, real quick before we continue on, guys, please, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Please, if you haven't already, hit that share button. If you haven't already, subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. It is Friday here. It's Football Friday with a little bit of baseball thrown in there. I got one. We're going to say 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I'm going to tell you something, okay, about the Eagles and jersey numbers. That might piss some people off. Reed is an exceptional bench safety, but we need to get starters that are exceptional to keep the Super Bowl dream alive. Yeah, we're not trying to win a Super Bowl in 5 years. We're trying to win another Super Bowl this year. Now, so I think what I'm going to tweak the way you describe him. Reed is a starting safety on an average or below average team. He's an okay. He's the weak link on a Super Bowl contender. How about that? And if you look at last year's defense, what was the weak link of the defense? Probably safety. To an extent. Even Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I'll throw in there. What's up? What's up, Mitchie Pooh? First comment of the day. Yes. Like, share, subscribe. Please. Roller coasters are fun when you throw, or even fun. I hate, by the way, hate roller coasters. I hate it. Got stuck on one in college. Pretty much never go on one again. Got stuck in a loop-de-loop. My thing was kind of on its side. It broke. Some people were upside down. Some people were right side up. I was sideways. Not a fan of roller coasters. I don't like. God wanted us to fly, given us wings. If He wanted us to go faster, He would have given us the ability to go faster. I am not a roller coaster person. I don't like to live on the edge of my seat. I have an embarrassing story about Middle Tennessee State. That's why I hate Reed Blankenship. So you have a story about that, just like I do Florida State. Exactly. We'll have to privately meet. Maybe that'll be what makes me start a members page or a members channel or whatever, a subscription thing. You pay a monthly fee, and we do a special show where I tell intimate stories about why certain things are certain ways. But you have to pay to get those stories. And then I can approve you to hear those stories. Don't ask Reed to flip his hips. Let's flip his hips. NFL offices want to get their fastest wide receiver one-on-one against Blankenship. Fangio's defense is so complicated to scheme against, though. I don't want this to be a Reed Blankenship hate, episode or anything like that. But I get what Nooms is saying about his hips and his technique, what you're saying, Duck and Mista. And I guess I'm going to turn into supporting him a little bit. I mean, he's not awful when you think about the fact that you've got two stud cornerbacks, you've got a stud defensive tackle, a stud linebacker. When you've got studs all over the defense, in theory, Reed Blankenship is acceptable, if that makes sense. What will last longer, the Exciting Whites or the Bruise Brothers? Who are the Bruise Brothers? I don't think the Exciting Whites last past this year, though. I like to put it this way. CJ and Reed play safety the same way. CJ has the physical talents to make up for the mistakes that Reed makes. Yeah. I do think that they were kind of dupes of each other. Yes, we start the show at 514 subscribers. Would have loved to hit 515 today. It's not happening. At least it hasn't happened through the first 47 minutes. So, yeah. We see these little spikes where one day we'll gain 5 or 6. Then we'll go 5 or 6 days with 0 new subscribers. The long haul. We're in for the long haul, Mitchie Poo. But I do want to hit 1,000 by the start of the NFL season. That is the goal. And that's a big goal. It's going to be tough. I was doing some math in my head. Very tough. Reed is a starter on 50% of the teams in the NFL. And, what's it, like 95% of the teams don't make it to the Super Bowl. I don't know how to do the math on that, but yeah. How about 569? I mean, sure. You get me to 569 today, Mitchie Poo. What do you want? You want a guest spot on the show? You want a regular reoccurring appearance on the show? You get me to 569 subscribers today, and I'll buy you a free pizza tonight. Bruise Brothers were Dave Brown and Daryl Stanley. I don't even know who they are. Right over my head. Reed Beal replaced by Ty. Vanilla Gorilla is joining the White. So is the Vanilla Gorilla the third man? The Exciting Whites there's a third man on the Exciting Whites, and it's the Vanilla Gorilla, the enforcer. You need to talk golf again, Phil. Look, I was so off on Jake Knapp first round leader yesterday. I'll tell you that. Let me tell you something. Golf is the secret to new subs. I didn't gain any subs during golf ever. Golf is boring, just like now. Travis, golf might be boring to watch on TV. Golf might be frustrating to play. But golf betting and fantasy golf is 1,000 times better. 1,000 times better than any other sport, gambling and fantasy-wise. It's a 4-day roller coaster. And that's when I talk golf, I talk it in a gambling sense. I host a gambling show on Tuesday nights, talking golf, Travis. I might be streaming the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. Is that this Saturday? Holy shit, I didn't know. I don't know nothing about horseback riding or the horse racing or anything like that. No real big interest. But you get me to 569 today. You name your price. I'll buy fake subscribers from you. Dave Brown, best left-handed fighter in Flyers history. My Flyers knowledge is not ideal, we'll say. Scotty will end 35 under this week. Whatever the course record, the tournament record is, add 10 to it, and that's what he's going to finish at, Steve. I mean, it's that easy. Phil's trying to pull some payola crap with Mitch. What is this? Exactly. Hey, my ratings can't get any worse than Tyrone's did. I just can't get fired from my own show. That's the thing. In the words of Furio, Stupid, fucking, yeah. Fiorio. Love a good Fiorio reference. I wonder if Tony ever found him. For Googling and oogling at Carmella. You never go after the boss's wife. You just can't do that. Was that one of the worst side stories in the history of The Sopranos? Fiorio and Carmella? Probably the dumbest side story that went on in that series. And there were a bunch of, like, The Sopranos is one of the greatest shows ever made. Maybe the greatest. But the side stories, the side quests, were some of the dumbest things ever. Like Carmelo and Fiorio, like Carmelo and the priest, father, whatever, drinking the wine, getting drunk with her. Some of the side stories were awful. Who you got? Clippers or Nuggets, Game 7? I'm torn. I want to say Clippers, but I want to see James Harden make it deeper, just so I can laugh at Daryl Morey some more. But I don't want Ben Simmons to make it further, even though he's only playing like 8 minutes a game. I could say I watched the final quarter of that Pistons-Knicks game last night. I was really pulling for the Pistons last night. I'm just going to say, for shits and giggles, I'll say Clippers, Mitch. The key, K-E, what? I think Tyrone will find a home in sports radio or sports commentary somewhere. He's entertaining enough to latch on somewhere. Yeah, look, I feel bad, and I've talked about it on social media a little bit this week. There is a job posting on the Fanatics website for a full-time host. I shouldn't have to apply. They should just give it to me. I'm going to Shedeur Sanders that interview. The problem is they're unhappy with Tyrone for not getting the numbers that WIP gets. Instead of just being happy, being second best, the Fanatic tries far too hard to become what WIP is when they can't do that. If they tried to do things a little differently and understood that unless something crazy happens, they're never going to tie them or compete with them anymore, or they're not in the immediate future, develop something, take your time, take a step back, accept second place for 2 to 3 years, and in 3 years then reevaluate, see if you've gained any in-ground. Tyrone was doing fine. He just wasn't doing WIP numbers. And no one will be. The Kentucky Derby is great. Love betting on the ponies. Yeah, I don't get into it. Clippers win it. What's up, Freddie Depo? How you doing? Or Freddie Drew O. I've got multiple names here. Drew. What's up, Philly Drew? Too many names here. I love the hype Lakers fans got to. Yeah, I love Lakers losing was fine by me. Side quest in movies, TV, and life is always a 50-50 proposition. It is. It is. How the F did Brett Brown make Embiid and Simmons even function? You know what? Give him a prize for that, right? Guys, we're coming up on the top of the hour, so please like, share, subscribe. YMCA. Please, I'd greatly appreciate it. How we only got 13 likes, I don't know. We've been over 15 concurrent viewers multiple times, so that means some people are not hitting that like button, so please do that. And when you're done, you share. Of course, subscribe. I want to give you something. Something came up yesterday because rookie minicamp for the Eagles is this weekend. And everybody's excited over which rookies will wear which numbers this offseason and next year. All right? And I don't care. Okay, but that's not what upsets people. What I don't care about, what I don't like, is you've got a list of retired Eagles numbers. Chuck Bednarik, number 60. Steve Van Buren, 15. Al Wistert, number 70. Tom Brookshire, number 40. Pete Retzlaff, number 44. Jerome, bring it home for Jerome Brown, 99. Reggie White, 92. Brian Dawkins, 20. Don McNabb, number 5. They are all retired jerseys. But there is a list of numbers that are unofficially retired. Nick Foles, number 9. Randall Cunningham, number 12. LaShawn McCoy, number 25. Brandon Graham, 55. Kelsey, 62. Peter, 71. Ertz, 86. 91, Fletcher Cox. And I am here to tell you right now that only one, maybe 2, of the unofficial retired Eagles numbers should be retired. Kelsey at number 62 and Jason Peters, number 71. If somebody wants to wear number 9, go for it. If somebody wants to wear number 12, go for it. If somebody wants to wear number 55, go for it. If somebody wants to wear number 91, go for it. There's like 90 players on a team come training camp. They're going to have like 25 numbers retired by next year. I don't think it's necessary to have Nick Foles, LaShawn McCoy, and Randall Cunningham's numbers retired. I don't. I don't think Fletcher Cox or Brandon Graham's number needs to be retired. And I know there's a lot of people that hate me for saying that. Hell, some of the actually officially retired numbers. I don't think Donovan McNabb's number needs to be retired. Unless you're a Hall of Famer. Jerome Brown's special situation with his death. If you're not a Hall of Famer, you don't get your number retired. Bucks needs to rebuild. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Sixers fans are hoping for Giannis on the Sixers. Going to go from the most hated guy to the most loved guy in Philly. Ty Robinson better keep his nickname in college. O-linemen don't care. They just want to drive his body through the turf. Yeah. The NBA playoffs are just as bad as the regular season. All ISO ball and jacket up threes. It's hard to watch. I was trying to cheer on the Detroit Pistons for Jason Sullivan last night. What about Trent Cole, 58? That is not retired. But and it's not on the list of withheld numbers. I don't care about retired numbers. Hell, let people wear number 20, Brian Dawkins, again. I don't care. Like, I think the theory of A, getting excited about jersey numbers, and B, retiring jersey numbers, and like the argument about should it be retired and nobody should ever wear it again, I think it's stupid. I do. Vanilla Gorilla is just a great name going to a team that is just colored. Yeah, exactly. The first round pick should wear number 00. Yeah. Shout out to Delco for the poop. Hey, if you're from Delco, I don't know how many of you are from Delco at some point in your life. I know for a fact, because I am one of the people that did it, because I'm 44. She was 44. I went online to make sure I didn't know who this girl was. She was a Ridley girl. I'm a Ridley kid originally. All right. I went to make sure I was not friends with her on Facebook or had common friends with her on Facebook. The odds are we all know each other. Just, and I know other Delco people did the same thing. Damn, if the Eagles retire all those numbers, they'll have to start adding fractions. Absolutely. Absolutely, mister. Retiring numbers is stupid. Adding to the Team Hall of Fame is really big already. Absolutely. I say you got to retire BG and Lane, both guys lifetime. I don't care. Lane will be in the Hall of Fame. So you can make an argument that Lane Johnson can get his number retired. Brandon Graham is one of the Eagles' legends, but he was a rotational player. Brandon Graham is one of the greatest personalities in Eagles history. He was a really good football player. Made the biggest play in the first Super Bowl victory. I think you don't retire his number. I don't think there's a need to retire his number. What do you think? What about Keely Ringo? He's number 7. Next year, probably 67. Look, I don't care what number he changed his number. Jahan Dotson changed his number. I don't care about numbers. Like, it don't matter to me. Certain positions have to wear certain numbers. I don't care. I think the number thing is hilarious. I really do. What if everyone in the Eagles, that would make you a very happy man. I don't know if you can control yourself, Mitchie Poo. I don't know if you'd be able to physically control yourself if that was the case. Retired numbers and all-star Pro Bowl honors don't mean what they used to. It's like the participation trophy these days. Everyone will get one eventually. I mean, I see the parallels you're drawing there. For sure. Pro Bowls still mean something. Because it's financially. It means something financially, Steve. It means something to their bonuses and their incentives and their contracts. But that's about it. Isn't there a team that doesn't give helmet sticker? A team that doesn't give helmet sticker before they make the team? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Mitchie Poo is literally a child. I just think it's hilarious that Nick Foles' number is unofficially retired for 2 good games. Randall Cunningham, if anything, might be the biggest bust or what if in Eagles history. So much hype about Randall Cunningham. What did he ever do for us? Did he ever win a damn playoff game even? No. So why is Randall Cunningham's number off the books? Get the fook out of here with that. LaShawn McCoy left for several years. Still holds a lot of records, but whatever. Fletcher Cox, great. Zach Ertz, I know, great, but is Zach Ertz really a you can never wear Zach Ertz's number again level? I'm not even going to say it out loud. I'm just going to let it sit on the screen and marinate for a second. Okay? I mean, Josh Huff's number fits production. Yeah, 0. Randall did indeed win a playoff game for the Birds versus the Saints. Did he? He did. Sorry. All right, my bad. He won a playoff. He won A. You could have put that A in big capital letters, okay? My bad. My bad. I got no. The first off, the fact that you're more upset that I said Randall shouldn't have his number retired than Nick Foles, who won us our first Super Bowl, is shocking to begin with, okay? It's shocking. Randall Cunningham is the definition of why I hate the Kelly Green era. The fact that we all accepted mediocrity for so damn long in Philadelphia. Why? What did Randall Cunningham ever do? Outside of being on cover of magazines, being on the box of Wheaties, winning a playoff game against the Saints. That's it. We praise and hype up in so many areas such a mediocre era of Eagles football. O-linemen don't record any stats. The only fun thing have is pancaking defenders. Ty shouldn't add a target. Randall did prove what he could do with real coach. Yeah, with Minnesota. Absolutely. So Minnesota can retire his goddamn number. Not the Eagles. We praise such an average era in Philadelphia Eagles history so much. And it always annoys the living hell out of me. And again, I'm old enough. I was there, just like all you. I don't get it. Agreed. This not racist, but the Eagles are the only team with the most black starting quarterbacks in the league. Donovan, Randall, Hurts. Interesting. It's not Cunningham's fault for the deficit. But, so we're going to reward mediocrity by retiring his number? And look, I'm a huge Randall Cunningham fan. Thoroughly enjoyed watching him play as a kid. Helped excite me and bring me to the sport of football. Took my football fandom to a new level as a young kid, growing up in the 80s and 90s in Delco with the poop lady. But he didn't do anything that deserves, if his number deserves retired, there's a lot of other guys that numbers need to be retired. It's taking it too far. It's rewarding mediocrity. Randall Cunningham revolutionized the quarterback position. He was the Allen Iverson in the NFL with all the tattoos. Maybe. I don't know. Didn't result in many wins, many playoff wins. It didn't result in much success. Allen Iverson is one of the 40 or 50 greatest basketball players of all time. Randall Cunningham might not be the 40 greatest quarterbacks of all time. So, explain that. The Swamp Fox was such a mistake that people chose to clamp on to Buddy Ryan. It goes towards my distaste of the Kelly Green as well, because it brings up an error of mediocrity in my life for my sports teams. And I don't agree with, rewarding mediocrity. Why did the Phillies put Kruk on the Wall of Fame? Didn't understand that move at all. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess the 93 team, were the leaders of that 93 team, an era. At least they got some success for 1 year, getting to a World Series. So I can give Kruk a little bit more credit than Randall Cunningham. Moon, Cunningham, McNabb, Vick are names that allowed for dreams to be had by many a young man who dreamed about having the opportunity to be an NFL quarterback. Okay. Fine. But again, what did he do? Success-wise. Winning-wise. Kruk's mediocre Philly career. I mean, I'd have to really dig deep and think about it. I don't know. Wasn't prepared to talk about John Kruk. I was prepared to talk about Randall Cunningham. Rick, not John Kruk. I was prepared more to talk about Nick Foles not needing his number retired. One nut Kruk. Yeah, one nut Kruk. Hey, you got to love that. Randall and Donovan ended with very similar stats. And look, I don't think Donovan's not even unofficially retired. Randall's unofficially retired. Donovan is officially retired. And I was a huge Donovan fan. Donovan at least won playoff games. At least Donovan got to a Super Bowl. At least Donovan went to, 4 or 5 championship games. What did Randall do? No, I got you. I just wasn't prepared statistically to argue for or against your point. I will say this. I think he's becoming a little mediocre in the broadcast booth. I used to like the shtick. Now it's kind of like a little too much. Randall Cunningham got severely injured and almost ended his career. Rice Pop, you bastard. That's why I don't get all the hype up about Shedeur Sanders. One play in his career could be over. Yeah, I mean, I'm not holding that against him. I'm not just because he got injured. I'm not retiring his number either. Here's the list of greats, dual quarterbacks: Randall, Donovan, Jalen, Michael, Young, all Philly. Randall got within a missed field goal of the Super Bowl, not with the Eagles. Donovan's stats are way better than Cunningham here in Philly. In Philly, for sure. And just because he was great in Minnesota does not mean. Didn't he win that MVP that year with Minnesota? Randall was born again in Minnie. Yes, he was. He's a pastor now too, right? Without Cunningham opening doors, we don't have Vick in extension, Mahomes, Hurts, or any of these young men who are getting looks that 50 years ago. See, I don't know. Without Randall, they wouldn't have gotten looks. Who's to say that somebody else wouldn't have opened those doors? Duck. But I get what you're saying. But it's not like he did it with major success. People also forget disgruntled Cunningham. Cunningham getting benched wearing his coat inside out. He also wasn't the greatest teammate at times. I remember, I still got the picture of him benched on the sideline. I think Bobby Brister came in from, or was that Rodney Peete that game? Disgruntled on the sideline, wearing his Eagles jacket inside out so the logo wasn't showing out to the crowd because he was pissed off. Look, not trying to take anything away from Randall Cunningham's career, but his number does not need to be retired. If Kyle McCord wants to wear number 12, you go for it, Kyle McCord. We're talking Philly, not Minnesota. Exactly. Remember what happened to Alex Smith leg? I do. Because I had the exact same injury, mister. They gave me a 65% chance of having my leg amputated in the emergency surgery. So the fact that I even have a right leg right now is a miracle. The fact that he does. Luckily for him, he had a $1 billion football organization and their medical team to rebuild. That's why I'm not as physically active as I used to be, because I had 4 physical therapy appointments and that was it. That was the end of my therapy for my leg. I was on crutches. I did not walk for over 6 months when I broke my leg. Randall had his own show at one point. I used to watch it. I remember that. I do. The Crucker was always on base with a lifetime 300 average. The greatest thing about John Kruk is he got his last hit got his average back over 300, and he's walked off the field. I'm done. Talking about a mic drop. I need to hit this bat, gets me to 300 lifetime. I'm done. I mean, it's hilarious. I love it. I love it. And that was during the season. Yeah. Cal McCord could be the next Jay Fiedler. Oh, man. There was less than a handful of black starting quarterbacks before him. Now it's about the ability and the color of their skin as much. Yeah, look. Maybe he opened more doors than I'm giving him credit for. I still think number 12 could be worn by anyone that wants to. More than anybody wants to. More like Colt McCoy. Hey, Colt McCoy's had a long, long career. For all I know, Colt McCoy still might be on an NFL roster right now. Honestly. Is there anything better in the NFL than being a second and third string quarterback? Make a couple $1 million a year, play a couple preseason meaningless games, and carry a clipboard all year long. Sit and cash in for 10, 15 years if you're even half decent. I'd be happy with a Colt McCoy career and life, probably. Matt Klentak is the type of GM that had a hard-on for Kruk's ability to control the plate. Yeah, maybe Kruk was an analytic dream. I think Colt was still in the NFL like 20. He definitely went long. Let me look this up here. I got a Colt McCoy. I want to say he definitely was in the NFL still in 23. We'll see here. Yeah, 2022 Pro Football Reference has his last year with Arizona at 36 years old, 2022. So not 23, 22. I'm actually kind of shocked that he didn't play. I'm shocked he's still not playing. I mean, because if he was 36 and 22, I mean, he'd still be under 40. Joe Flacco still playing in his 40s. Why can't Colt McCoy? Yeah. Did you know that before the Civil War, Philadelphia had the most free black African Americans? I did not know that. So great history knowledge right there from you as well, mister. So thank you for that. Muchas gracias. If 12 can be worn, then 5, 36, and every other number besides 20 can be worn. Hall of Fame players are the only players that I agree. Hall of Fame players and people like Jackie Robinson. People that really, truly revolutionized the world. But I can even make an argument, not even Hall of Fame. Don't retire any numbers. Wear somebody else's number to honor them. How many times do we hear people, I wear 8 for Kobe Bryant to honor him? Yeah, the Lakers won't let you wear 8, but other people do. Let people honor you by wearing their number. There can only be one Joe Flacco in the league at a time. That's true. Yo, look, big Joe Flacco. Give him credit. The dude just keeps wanting to play. He wants to stay out of his house and keep playing. And he keep playing. He had a game last year where he threw for like 400 yards. So it's not like he's washed. He can still go out there and sling it a little bit. Yeah, good for him. Being a backup quarterback in the NFL is great. Being Joe Flacco, a backup, sometimes a starter, cool. But anyway, I knew somebody would get upset. I thought you guys would all get upset that I would say that Nick Foles' number or LaShawn McCoy's number or Brandon Graham's number didn't need to be retired. But you guys all latched onto the Randall part of it, which I think is pretty hilarious. My favorite Crooker moment is the home run versus the Dodgers when they came back from like down 10-0. Okay. Seems like yesterday Fitzmagic was that might be the best of them right there. Yeah, flaccid. I don't know. We didn't gain a single new like. 13 likes is just not good enough. So guys, please like, share, subscribe. The algo is off. Talking about Reed Blankenship to start the show definitely did not help build this show today. What's up with that? Disappointing me, guys. We're still sitting at 514 subscribers, too. Disappointing. But again, I told you, Mitchie Poo, you get me to 569 today, name your price. Flacco. A Super Bowl winning backup quarterback, Phil. You left that out. Flacco for life. That's right. That's right. Very true. Oh, no. Cash those Scotty bets out right now. He might miss the cut. Oh, my God. I didn't even check my showdown lineup for today. Let me see the ownership percentages, K1, on my showdown lineup for today, which Scotty's not in my showdown lineup today. But my lineups did jump up in cash right now. Where is my showdown lineup today? Single entry, single entry. There's my showdown lineup for today. Let's see. Jake Benyon, 6%. Yeager, 23%. Not good. Even for Jake Knapp at 11. Gerard, +1. That's no bueno. Kaziri, even. All right, we got one more like. Thank you. Thank you. So begging and crying got me one more like. I always appreciate you. You probably shouted me out to tell me how much, you hate my opinions on the Phillies win the World Series. But whatever. Rick's podcast. Rick, just put a link. Put a link to your YouTube. Copy and paste the link to your YouTube channel and put it in the comments so everybody can find it. Please. On tap. What about on tap? What did I miss there? I don't know what on tap is. Sounds like, yeah, two birds, one show. But if you have it, if you've got a link, I fully give you permission to put the link to your show in the chat. The show started with Blankenship and ends with Flacco. For those that missed the cold open, okay? I said in the comment to cold open the show, it's Friday. You have no idea what is going to be discussed. Hell, I made a Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters reference, and Duck caught on. That is how little you know what's going to happen on Fridays on Trending in the AM. Okay? NFL should get rid of jersey numbers, let the players branch average. Dude, I'd be all for that. Go the NASCAR way. Absolutely. But guys, again, two birds, one show, BGSE Network. That's where you find Rick. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Beer and Birds. They have a lot of fun on their show. They do great work. On Tap with Beer Man. That's a good name. It's always, I appreciate you. You know I appreciate you. We disagree at times, but we appreciate you. It's the post-Civil War era slave trade. There's a reason why Baltimore and Philadelphia has the largest. Yep, absolutely. Phillies added a decent bullpen arm. He should be called up soon. I don't know about that. Which Eagles player would have the GoDaddy uni? Could you imagine that? GoDaddy. Is GoDaddy even still a thing? I remember all the Danica Patrick GoDaddy commercials. Is Danica Patrick still a thing? Like, I don't even know if she's still a thing, let alone GoDaddy's still a thing. My guess is GoDaddy's still going stronger than Danica Patrick at this point. I don't know much about NASCAR or racing. But that's all I could give you there on that. Anyway. All right, we got 10 minutes left. The floor is yours. I've covered the topics I want to cover today. I've said what I have to say. The Phillies lost last night. Can the Phillies win their next series against the Diamondbacks? Got 3 games against the Diamondbacks this weekend. You got Luzardo going tonight. You got Nola tomorrow night. And making his season debut, Ranger Suarez, on Sunday afternoon. Will the Phillies win that series? Harriet Tubman is to thank for the rich African-American culture this area had. History fact, at one point, she lived in Cape May. Guys, if you like your history, check out Peanut's YouTube page. You can just click on his profile picture in the chat, and you can subscribe to his YouTube page. Pixelated History. Some fantastic history on his channel with him and his son, Evan. The exciting whites across the board. Possibly. She had houses all through Philadelphia and Camden. Look at that. I think Peanut. I think you need to do a Pixelated History episode on Harriet Tubman now. That would be my request for you to do a video on her. Show her houses. A history on her houses. You could do a 3 or 4 minute video on the history of her houses. I don't call them slaves. They were forced into slavery. It was more like human trafficking. It actually is. Like, some of the videos I've watched, I love history. I miss when the History Channel was actually about history. Now you got to go to the Smithsonian Channel for that most of the time. But yeah, Pixelated History is actually a very good channel. And Peanut and his son put together some high quality content over there on their channel. So it's not just me that says it. Duck even says it as well. All right, so we got final 10 minutes. If you guys don't have something really serious to add to the equation, I'm going to take an early break. Flyers should hire Sullivan. Again, we talked about this yesterday briefly, Rick. I have no idea who the Flyers should hire. But it should be somebody that never played in Philadelphia. It should be somebody that has come from a team that has won a Stanley Cup in the last 3 years. It should come from a team that has been to the playoffs at least the last 3 years. That is what I want. And I also want somebody that's young. Yeah, I can't tell you enough how much I don't want Rick Tocchet as the next Flyers coach. I can't tell you how much I don't want him. Yeah, not that hasn't been recently, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Were you the one that suggested him yesterday? Because someone suggested him yesterday, Rick. I said I just have very specific rules. Younger, Stanley Cup champion, playoffs the last 3 years. That's all my requirements are. I think we're all in agreement on no Tocchet. They have a hard-on for the Western Michigan guy. Didn't he, is that the guy that was friends with Briere in college? Yeah. And I think they already brought him in for an interview, or they scheduled the interview. Phillies need a young manager. The Flyers need a young coach. Keep saying Jimmy Rollins. Just saying. I'll end it on a controversial statement. Reed Blankenship is underrated. You should have put Reed Blankenship's name regular and underrated in caps locks, okay? That's the way you should have done it, okay? Peanut, not the way you did do it. And I disagree. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's overrated. He's not going to be a long-term player here in Philadelphia. Unless he understands what his value really truly is, financially speaking, which I doubt. All right, we got the 15 likes on today's show. Hey, how about that? 15 likes. But no new subscribers today. Thompson going to win a World Series as manager in Philly. You know what, Rick? I would want nothing else for this to come true. Rick, I would love to do an entire show of I am sorry I was wrong. I just don't think I'm going to have to do it. Reed will be part of your Eagles History Channel soon. Probably. It would have been more impactful if you spelled his name correctly. I didn't even notice the blanket. I didn't even see the T in there. Didn't even see the T in there. Good pickup there. Good pickup there, Doc. Reed, he hate me. Roddy hate me smart. He's 48 years old. Wow. I forgot all about he hate me. Excuses, Peanut. Like a-holes. Everybody's got them. Can't be making excuses in life. You just got to be better. They better reconstruct the Phils then. Yeah. Well, you'll have that show in probably early November. Rick, I'm the only guy that will have a show like that. There's plenty of us, Rob Thompson haters out there. I'll be the only one standing up, shouting, I was wrong. And I'll gladly do it. I will gladly admit my mistakes, Rick. But they have to be mistakes first. He actually made it to 48. The way he was living, I don't think he would have made it that old. What, did he pass away? Oh, you're saying because of the way he was living, you didn't think he would make it that long. Gotcha. Sirianni equals Thompson. No. Sirianni is emotional. Sirianni wears his emotions on his sleeve. Sirianni leads in a 1,000% different way than Rob Thompson does. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs are going all the way as constructed. The Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs might be better than the Phillies at this point, honestly. Yeah, I'm just kidding about that. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this shebang up for the day. We're going to call it a day. I'm going to close my notebook here. Close it. Different personality, but winners. Yeah, but they're not the same because their personalities are completely different. And one's been to 2 championship games and won one. One has only been to 1 and not won one. So not there yet. Maybe at the end of this year they'll be the same, but not yet. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. Come on out, Fox's Pizza in Kennett Square if you want to see me. I'll be there all Friday, all Saturday, half of Sunday. So, yeah, come on out and see me at Pizza Shop this weekend, guys. And Mitchie Poo, you get me to $5.69. I'll buy you all the pizza you want today. Win. Just win. I want my 5 minutes. Where's my 5 minutes? Oh, you're not going to yell at me for no value? That's what Mid-MZ likes to do. When I call a show early, he likes to call me out for it because he thinks I make millions of dollars doing this. I didn't get Tyrone's, job, but I still ain't making money doing this. Great show as usual. Muchas gracias. I try my best. I do my best to wake up. Let me tell you something. I didn't want to wake up today. I won't lie. Today was one of those days I did not want to wake up and do the show. But here we are. We're doing it anyway. There's tons of value. I want time. Exactly. That are you moonlighting as Mid-MZ? Not mid at all. Would you recognize us if the Core 12 showed up? I would. I don't know what any of you look like. I know what Rick looks like. I know what Mitchie Poo looks like. I think they're the only two that I know, and I know what Peanut looks like. That's it. Outside of those three, wouldn't know what any of you look like. I would know what Judd looks like, but Judd's not part of the regular Core 12. He's like the AAA version. He's the minor leagues of the Core 12, waiting to get the call up. I notice about those. I don't know what you look like, mister. I don't know what Duck looks like. I don't know what K1 or Marshawn looks like. I don't know what, Nooms, I guess, has got a profile picture. So I guess I could figure that one out. I had quite the hangover day. I didn't even drink last night. I had a wicked headache yesterday all day long. Like wicked headache. Thought my head was being beat with a hammer yesterday. So I crashed pretty early last night. And really wanted to sleep longer today. But I did not. Because I'm here for you guys. All right? That's why. I would never give up on you guys. I really wish more players improved under this manager. A very interesting comment. Has anybody gotten better under Rob Thompson? I'm going to write that down, Nooms. Let's put this in my notebook. Maybe a tweet or a video or something. Has anyone improved under Topper? That was worthy of opening a notebook back up. Phil, just rickroll us. What? Rojas and Sanchez have. Sanchez, maybe, yeah. I don't know if Rojas has got better. Rojas, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, more rants for the YouTube shorts. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. The YouTube shorts that are clips from the show tend to get the clicks or the views. The rants are kind of where the subscribers come from. Schwarber looks great batting fourth. Harper's still in a big slump, but I'm not worried about him. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you go. Double the RBI, then lead off. Look, I love Bryson Stott as the leadoff hitter. That's the Kyle Schwarber in the 4-hole means I got Bryson Stott in the leadoff spot. I'm a happy man, Rick. I got to have something to rant. I don't always have something to rant about. I can't force the rant. That's the problem. It's got to come natural. That's what it has to do. I don't always have the time to come up with these natural rants. That's the problem. Anyway, guys, I really do got to wrap this up. Everybody have a great day. Everybody have a great weekend. Come on out to Fox's Pizza. Come say hello. Mitchie Poo, $5.69 today. Free pizza. Free pizza. Topper is a Canadian. No wonder he's such a, yeah, exactly. Rants have to be they have to be. Can't be forced, Rick. They can't be. A true professional would rant on command. I'm full of love, not hate, so I don't have rants. You can't find enough rant material between the 6. That's true. That's true. I could. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say goodbye. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. He doesn't even have a home run yet. Viva la Canada. Didn't even know that was a thing. Anyway, everybody have a great day. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk next week, guys. I'm trying to line up some guests for next week to spice it up. Martin Frank has already been locked in for next week. We're working on a few others. Everybody have a great weekend. Go Birds. Bubbles up.